esteem and had received my own real-life kiss 2 weeks before. Thank God I made it.
If you don't come, I'll drive down here to see you. I'll pick you up outside the factory. You'll be my big girl.
You'll be the happiest person in the world.
The second happiest.
Oh, Hank, if I can only tell you how much I love you. I can only tell you all.
Tell Mama. Tell Mama.
I was a very young, very immature 16. Even though I played and looked much older.
And of course you started that with Montgomery Clift, who became one of your very best friends.
Well, he was my best friend. People like to say that I was in love with him. We were never in love, but we always loved each other. We were always there for each other. And we had a language that we understood. We could read each other in seconds, even on the phone.
Okay.
And it was like an umbilical cord that was transcontinental. We could feel what the other was going through.
Giant is one of my all-time favorites, and I think for almost anybody who knows your career, probably one of theirs as well. You start with Rock Hudson and James Dean, and when, of course, it was doing that film that James Dean, unfortunately, was killed, and you were quite upset about that, weren't you?
It was the first time anybody I'd been close to had died. It was my first experience with death. And I did find it hard, yeah. He was so alive, so vulnerable.
How are you?
And we used to talk about it
Pretty good.
so much.
Made some improvement.
And it was very hard for me
Good.
to, at the age of 23, accept the finality of death.
You were only 23 when you made that, Giant? That's amazing, because you played a role where you aged to a woman 50.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize you were that young. You did everything so young. I mean,
I was married a virgin.
You were?
Yep.
Oh, that was Nicky Hilton, of course, right? Well, you said you never even slept outside your mother's house until you got married.
That's right.
So you literally went from your mother's house to Nicky Hilton's house.
Yeah.
That was a big house you went to, too.
Not big enough. There's nothing for you to do except be supportive. And sometimes I didn't agree with all the issues. So, you know, I really had to kind of keep my mouth shut.
In the end, the marriage didn't work. All the illnesses caused you to take a certain amount of drugs, and more and more. Did you know that you were becoming addicted?
Probably in the back of my head. I'm not stupid. And it sort of eased more than physical pain.
And the drinking?
That was to blot everything out.
How bad was the addiction? How much was the drinking then? Do you remember?
I concealed it quite well. I used to pride myself on having a wooden leg because I was not a fall-down drunk. But I consumed inordinate amounts of alcohol. And combined with pills, it was deadly.
When you decided to go to Betty Ford, you were, I think, the first major celebrity to do that. People were shocked. People thought it would be the end of your career. It took enormous courage.
Well, I knew I had to do something or I would die.
You came out of Betty Ford, had a very good 5 years, at least so it seemed, then had a relapse and went back in again.
I thought I could start drinking again, and I went to Mexico, and those little pineapples with umbrellas on in the hot sunshine just looked so cute.
So I'll have another.
Yeah. And then, like, it turns into a bottle of wine, and I thought, whoops.
At Betty Ford, the second time around, you met an attractive, very different kind of man for you, Larry Fortensky. What did it give you?
Larry is a very sweet, kind, funny man, and I was so proud when he kept on working as a construction worker, and he had his own sense of self. And then it just all started to change. And it got all blurred. And I think My hip surgeries were very hard on him. He just really couldn't kind of cope with it.
As you tell me this, you're blaming yourself.
Because I don't want to blame him. We just stopped communicating.
You never took alimony.
No.
Now you're paying a settlement.
This is a little hard for me.
And he wants more because he wants to live in the style that you
made him accustomed
to.
I think he's probably been ill-advised, and some lawyers have gotten a hold of him and said, you know, screw her for as much as you can.
What are you going to do?
I'm not going to lay back and say, just take whatever you want. There's a certain amount I have in my mind that I think is appropriate, and I will stick out for that.
But you have said that you love being in love, that you always want to be in love.
I've been in love so many times, I think I've had it.
What about marriage?
Oh, God, no.
Really? You've said that before.
I know, but I really mean it.
Okay.
If you hear of me getting married,
what do I do?
Slap me.
In a lifetime marked by constant turmoil, one relationship that has never changed is her friendship with Michael Jackson. She has remained loyal to Jackson through all of his difficulties.
One of the reasons I think Michael Jackson and I are so close, because neither one of us had a childhood, and we can relate to that and wonder at how we got by. And he's going to have a family, and I think it's great.
Are you going to be godmother to the baby?
Yes. I think it's great.
For 55 years, we have indeed been entranced and surprised by Elizabeth Taylor. Roddy McDowell thinks he knows why.
There's been so much agony in her life, and so much glory. She's become a part of our family. That happens with certain people whose careers are so enduring. It's very warming to know they're there and to be able to care about them.
There have been so many lessons, life and death lessons, emotional lessons. I don't believe in regrets because I'm here today. I'm alive. I have my friends, I have my children, and I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. No one does.
Mm-hmm. And take
believe.
each day?
Take each day as it comes. And if it's a bad day the next day, just hang in.